Jack here, GBF Music and Guitar Lessons. In this Licks to Impress, we're looking at 4 very tasty, very vocal, melodic Guthrie Govan lines. I'll start off with the most simple and then get a bit trickier as we go on. A legato slide from the 13th to the 15th frets on the B string. Then don't hit the 15th again, instead just bend it up by a tone. Another legato slide up to the 17th with a tone and a half bend, ideally a nice controlled vibrato as well. Bonus tips 1 and 2 here. Try using some compression or some more violent vibrato to keep the sound strong on that last note. Try muting the E string with either your first or second fingers and resting the pick or your thumb against the G string, palm over the lower strings. If you watch Guthrie Govan, he does this an awful lot, and it really just helps limit any sort of slop or string noise. Some of these bends coming up are pretty big and can be quite tricky. If you are struggling, check out my Quick Tricks compound bend video, lesson card up there. It's got some hints and tricks in it. This next one though shouldn't be too hard. This is fairly straightforward to begin with. We have a tone bend on the 15th fret with some vibrato, 12 to 13 on the E, bend the 15th again, then release it and pull off to the 13th, 14 on the G, then we have something a little bit trickier. We have a hammer from the 13th to the 14th and a quick bend up by a semitone. So 13 hammer to 14 and almost straight away bend it up by a semitone. So after that we release the bend and we bend it again. While sustaining that bend, you want to hammer onto the 16th fret. Now because this bend is here, it's held up, what we should get is the 17th fret sound. You may need to slightly adjust the bend here, but there's a fair bit of leeway with intonation. It might sound quite good if it's a little bit out, a little bit more naive and soulful perhaps. But yeah, release this bend and pull it off to the 13th fret, and rather than returning the bend to pitch and pulling down to the 13th. So what I mean by that is rather than going, so bend, down to pitch and pull up, rather than doing that, try returning the bend to pitch, and just when it's about to get there, pull off. This way it's just a bit kind of smoother, a bit more soulful and a bit more vocal sounding. As a quick side note, I really love the sound of these notes where you bend them and then hammer on. I've done a few kind of licks on these before, so what I'll do is link to them up there and down in the comments below if you want some more licks to play about with. Probably the busiest lick here, we've got the 2nd fret on the D, and a really quick hammer from the 4th up to the 6th. A slide from the 6th to the 9th, then a slide again from the 9th to the 11th. There's a quarter tone bend on the 9th fret here on the G, and then I think a very quick double stop. It's not a bend, so you're not going like that. You're playing these 2 notes together for a little bit of raunch, and then we slide up on the G string, up to the 13th fret, and do a tone and a half bend. And this bend follows the bend idea that we looked at in the very first lick, but going down this time rather than up. So we're doing a bend, then going down and doing another bend. We return this bend to pitch, pull off to the 9th, and then do a hammer on from nowhere onto the 11th fret on the D, and then pull off to the 9th on the D as well. We have the 9th on the G string, and then hammer onto the 11th. And here we have some really nice chromatic bending. So the notes you're aiming for are these. So we're going to bend up by a semitone, up to a tone, up to a tone and a half, and then back down to a tone. And then we have this little phrase to finish it off. I intended to pull these bends down because I find it a little bit easier and I have a lot more control. With a lot of these style of licks, what Guthrie will do is he'll cradle the pick under his finger like that, which is a bonus trick for you there, the pick cradle. Again, it helps it sound a bit more organic. He'll use his fingers so it's got this kind of more padded, fleshy sound rather than the harsh attack you get from a pick. Using the neck pickup or rolling down the tone and or volume will also give that kind of smoother sound. It'll give similar results. Now whether you do that or not, it's totally up to you. I just thought it was really worthwhile pointing out. And finally we have this one. These compound bends, it's sometimes easier to bend down than back up to pitch because that's what your muscle memory has learned to do. So bending back down before moving up the tone bend again will most likely be easier in terms of intonating the bend, but you could release the bend for a challenge. So what I mean here is I prefer to bend it up a tone, then bend it there the tone and a half, then release it back to an unbent position, bend up again, and then do it. What you could do is sustain this bend, go up extra half step, then go back down. I find that a lot more difficult to do than bending from position. So that's the one I tend to go for. Final bonus trick here, you could use a finger on the fret a semitone higher. So it's like the trick we did before, except I'm just moving up a semitone rather than a tone. Bend the 15th fret, sustain it, put your little finger down on the 16th fret, and play it. To be honest, if I had to play this live, this is probably the way I'd do it, but I'm clearly not as ballsy or indeed anywhere near as skilled as Mr. Guthrie Govan. So in this lick we have two of those bends. A simple tone bend on the 15th, turn it to pitch, 14th, and then 13th on the G and B respectively. Then comes a real tricky part. So we're pulling off from the 15th to the 13th, and then doing pretty much an instant tone bend. So I'd use my second finger and reinforce it with the first. So you're basically playing this note, and then aiming to pitch it. So the hard part comes here, that after this bend, you want to bend it another two frets. That is quite difficult, particularly if you've got thicker gauge strings on. The aforementioned quick tricks video on compound bending might be of assistance here. Again, I'll link it down in the comments. But yeah, release the bend to a nice bit of vibrato, and that finishes up the lick. Well, those were 4 tasty Guthrie Govan lines. This has been Licks to Impress, that's the playlist up there. Please do consider to subscribe, leave a comment if you've got any questions or indeed suggestions, check out some other videos I've done, and also share, like, and enable notifications with that little bell on the side if you feel so inclined. Cheers guys.